What's going on, guys? Drunk Italian here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to give you my predictions for the World Cup of Hockey 2016. It's kicking off today, but before that happens, I want to give you guys my predictions on how I think each team will do and who eventually will go on to win the 2016 World Cup of Hockey. So let's get to it. So to start off, we're going to look at Group A, and we are going to talk about first the home country, the host country, Team Canada, who's the favorite to win. They've got a team full of superstars. They've got huge depth on both forward and goalie, a little bit on defense. Looking at their current roster, they've actually got 5 players that took part in the Stanley Cup Finals this past spring. So you could see that this team has lots of experience and they know what it takes to win. I also like how this team was built with chemistry in mind, especially on defense. You've got 3 pairs of defensemen that are regular pairings on their teams in the NHL, that being Vlasic and Burns from San Jose, Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester from St. Louis, and Muzzin and Doughty from the LA Kings. They've got 3 of the best goalies in the world. Carey Price, the best goalie in the world. They've got Braden Holtby, who had a dynamite season last year. He's coming off a fresh Vezina Trophy win as the best goaltender in the NHL. And the other elite goalie is Corey Crawford, who has 3 Stanley Cup rings to his name. Now, of course, no team is all upside, and Canada's no exception. 11 of their 13 forwards are centers, so they may not be as comfortable playing on the wing. They've got some key omissions and injuries that might be game changers for them. Jamie Benn, Art Ross Trophy 2 years ago. Tyler Seguin, his teammate, also dynamite scoring. Those 2 right there were key pieces of the team, both now unable to participate. Jeff Carter also withdrew due to injury. And on defense, Keith was withdrawn due to injury as well, so they picked Jay Bouwmeester as a replacement. I guess Team Canada's management team really is not fond of the style of play that PK Subban or Chris Letang have. Even Mark Giordano or Brent Seabrook, they have so many names at their disposal, but they're adamant on getting equal number of right and left-handed shots, and that's what they've got on defense, so we'll see if it plays out again like it did in Sochi. Overall, Team Canada looks like an unbelievable team. On paper and on the ice in the pre-tournament, they've continued to impress, and they are the team to beat in this tournament. As for my predictions in the group stage, I'm trying to be unbiased here, but there's no denying the skill and star power on Team Canada. They've got depth throughout their team, and they've got experience to back it up with gold medals, with Stanley Cup rings, and World Championships to their name. Therefore, I'm predicting Team Canada to win Group A. Now, I must admit, Group A is definitely the easier group to predict, so it's easy to put Canada and US in the top 2, but you can never count out the Czech Republic. They've got a good mix of both experience and youth on their team. They're flying relatively under the radar, and they surprised me in the pre-tournament game. They beat both Team North America and Team Russia in the pre-tournament games. They definitely don't have the amount of household names that teams like Canada or USA or even Russia have on their team. Some non-NHL players as well. There are also some key omissions in the team. Yager, of course, retiring from international play. I'm surprised he didn't keep going. I mean, he's only 43. And then David Krejci withdrawing due to injury. That's a huge letdown on their forward core. He would have been their number 1 center for sure. Now they've got Tomas Plekanec, their captain. But in terms of their performance in the group stage, I'm predicting Czech Republic to come 3rd. Now we get to one of the 2 hybrid teams in this tournament. Now, a lot of controversy around the hybrid teams. It'll be interesting to see how they play together. Team Europe actually has a surprisingly strong forward core and good depth all around. All NHL players, so definitely some experience. They've got some older players, they've also got some younger players, they've got speed, they've got skill. It's an interesting team. They also beat Sweden pretty handily in the pre-tournament game, although of course it probably wasn't Sweden's best effort that game. It was the last pre-tournament game. They probably didn't want to expend all their energy, but still, impressive performance. A hat trick for Leon Draisaitl, who might be a game changer for Team Europe. However, there's no denying that chemistry is one of the biggest negative factors present on Team Europe. You've got players from various different countries. There might even be a language barrier. Team Europe's also one of the oldest teams. They've got players like Chara, Mark Streit, Dennis Seidenberg. The list goes on for the amount of players that are 30 years of age or older, and that definitely will impact their speed Their lack of speed was clearly evident against their blowout loss to Team North America, and one interesting thing is that their entire D-core is only left-handed. They've got no right-handed defensemen, which will definitely cause issues on the breakout, handling the puck on the breakout, and handling the puck in the offensive zone when the puck's being wrapped around the boards. Overall, although Team Europe interests me, I would like to see them succeed, being a hybrid team, a new team, the underdog. I can't see them making any huge upsets in this group stage or in this tournament in general. There's just too many things stacked against them. That's why I have them finishing last in Group A. And of course, the positioning of Team USA is no secret now. I have them finishing second. And that's just because they're definitely a stronger team. They've got depth all around again, similar to Canada, although they've got a gritty lineup. And I think Torts had mentioned that this team was designed specifically to beat Team Canada. You know, we'll see how that works out. They made some very, very surprising omissions to the team, both on forward and defense. They left off Bobby Bryan. They left off Phil Kessel. They also left off Tyler Johnson, who had a couple monster years the last two with Tampa Bay. On defense, they left off Kevin Shattenkirk, who was one of the best offensive defensemen 2 years ago. And then they left off Justin Falk as well, who's another very well-known, very high-skill offensive defenseman. So we'll see how those omissions played out and if the management staff at Team USA made the right call in building this team the way they wanted to. They've got some superstars and game changers, players like Patty Kane, Art Ross Trophy winner last year, Hart Trophy last year. He's magic. He's just magic. And then there's Jonathan Quick, who can steal games all by himself if he plays to his potential. They've got a big mobile defense, which will help them generate offense, and they've got lots of defensively minded forwards that can be used to match up against any team's top players. They're also one of the older teams in this tournament, but again, experience can prove very, very valuable in tournaments like this. One critique I have with their team build style is that although they're gritty and they'll be heavy on the puck, heavy on the forecheck, it may get them into some penalty trouble. Getting into penalty trouble against teams like Canada or Russia or Sweden, you can't take your chances like that, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Now we move on to Group B, and this is definitely the more difficult group to predict. You've got four really high-skilled teams. They're all pretty evenly matched. After watching the pre-tournament, it's really a toss-up. It could go either way, and this group will be super competitive. So we'll start off with Team Finland. They've also got a good mix of both experience and youth players like Patrick Laine, Sebastian Aho, and their young defense core. They're probably the second fastest team behind Team North America, which will help them blow by teams like Europe. They're one of the most frustrating teams to play against. They can shut a team down defensively, and they've got lots of skilled forwards who can frustrate defensemen with their cycle game. They've also got three good goaltenders. They've got Pekka Rinne, who can always steal a game. They've got Tuukka Rask, who's got lots of experience with Boston in his Stanley Cup runs a few years ago. And Mikko Koskinen, who is relatively unknown maybe to some of you, but he plays in the KHL. He's a great goaltender, so they've definitely got some options in goaltender if there's a little bit inconsistency in their starters. One of the biggest issues with Finland's lineup is their young, inexperienced defensive core. They've got Sami Lepisto, who might not even play this whole tournament. He's the oldest one. And then the rest of the six, the oldest player, is 25 years old, Sami Vatanen. They're also lacking that superstar power. I mean, they've got young Patrick Laine, who looks to be a superstar in the future, so we'll see if he can shine in this tournament like he did in the World Championships. Although Finland's team hasn't really changed too much over the past few times they've competed internationally, and they've done well with this lineup, looking at the other teams in this group, they'll have a tough time competing, and I don't think they'll lose every game, but I think that Finland is going to come last in Group B, and that's probably a surprising pick to most of you, but if you look at the other teams in this group, you can't say for sure that there's one team that's guaranteed to win this group or not. It's so competitive, and they might not be able to shut down the superstars that are on Team Sweden and Team Russia, and even North America with their speed there. It'll be tough for them to compete, I think. Their offense might not have it. Their goaltending's got to be sublime if they want to compete in this group. That's why I have them finishing last in Group B. Now we look on to one of the most exciting teams in the tournament, Team North America there. Just got a hat. It's a huge purchase. I'm such a big fan of this team, of course, in addition to Team Canada, but they're definitely the fastest team in the tournament by far. They've got players like Drouin, Larkin, McKinnon, McDavid, Eichel, all effortless skaters. The forwards are extremely skilled, and they've got a high-power offense with very mobile puck-moving defensemen. This team's also interesting. It's the other hybrid team, and they have the most to prove in this tournament, with the likes of McDavid being named captain of Team North America. Will he perform sufficiently to also be named captain of the Oilers, who are currently captainless? And also there's Austin Matthews, recent first overall pick. Hasn't played an NHL game yet. He's looking to impress the Leafs brass there, Leafs management, and hopefully he can crack the lineup in the first year. So these will be huge tournaments for both of these players. Now, before the 2016 playoffs, I would have had serious concerns about their goaltending, but have you heard of a kid named Matt Murray? He played 99% of the games in the Stanley Cup final and helped Pittsburgh win a Stanley Cup. Yeah, that kid, he's under 23. He's on Team North America. He is unbelievable, although he may or may not be a one-hit wonder. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can shine again like he did in the Stanley Cup finals, because that will bring a huge boost to Team North America's defense. Of course, the obvious takeaways from Team North America is that they're seriously lacking experience. Being 23 and under, it has its disadvantages. You're fast and limber, you're in your prime, but you're not physically built like the other teams are. So they might get physically dominated. Going up against a team like the United States, perhaps in the semifinals, that might not go over so well. They might get run into the ground, they might get hit and hit and hit on the forecheck, and they just might not be able to take it. So overall, I'm really excited to watch Team North America. I think they'll be super, super exciting to watch. They have so much to prove. I hope they make it into the knockout round so that they can play probably one of Team Canada or Team USA. However, in reality, these are predictions, not what I want to happen. Team North America, unfortunately, I do not think they'll make it past the group stage, and for that reason, I'm having them finish third in Group B. Alright, so moving on to the last two teams, we've got Russia and Sweden. So I'll talk about Russia first. They are the most skilled and most creative team in this tournament. If you look at their offense, your jaw must drop. It must. It's unbelievable. I'll just list you some names. Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Malkin, Pavel Datsyuk, Artemi Panarin, Nikita Kucherov, Evgeny Kuznetsov, and who's the cover boy of NHL 7? Oh, Vladimir Tarasenko. And they left off Ilya Kovalchuk and Alexander Radulov. They've also got strong goaltenders in net with Bobrovsky, Varlamov, and Vasilevsky, who has experience with Tampa Bay. Russia's strategy will likely be to outscore their opposition, capitalize on that high-powered offense, and just simply score more goals than the other team. And other teams in this group will definitely find it difficult to contain Russia's offense. However, one of the biggest issues with Russia's lineup, and it's a recurring theme year after year for international Russian teams, is their lack of solid defensemen. I don't think they've produced a elite defenseman in a decade. They're slow and relatively inexperienced. They're missing Slava Voinov, who's ineligible, unfortunately. He would have been a huge improvement to their defense. And they don't really have much to compensate for that lack of defense either. They've got very few defensive-minded forwards. As I listed off all those offensively minded players, the ones most defensively responsible is probably Pavel Datsyuk. He's one of the best two-way forwards in the game, but that's about it. Also, some might debate the fact that their goalies are not elites. Bobrovsky, Varlamov, Vasilevsky are not same household names like the goalies of Canada or USA. So they might have some issues there. They need consistency. Bobrovsky can be a game changer, but he'll have to play like that every single game if they want to help his team win. Now I'll leave my prediction to the end after I talk about Team Sweden. So Team Sweden has the strongest D-core in the tournament, in my opinion. They've got a great mix of offensive and defensive defensemen. Just think about it. Victor Hedman, Erik Karlsson, Anton Strålman, Hampus Lindholm, Mattias Ekholm, Niklas Hjalmarsson, one of the best defensive defensemen in the game. They've got scoring threats from all over the ice. Both their defense and their forwards are capable of scoring in bunches. They've got lots of experience on both forward and defense. They might have the second or third best power play in the tournament behind Russia. I would say theirs is the best. but a power play with Erik Karlsson, the Sedin twins, and Louis Eriksson, that combo has looked amazing in pre-tournament. Also, when you talk about Team Sweden, you can't forget their goaltender, the elite Henrik Lundqvist, the king. If he plays up to what he's capable of, he can steal games like he did in Sochi and take them all the way to the finals again this year. They had some notable omissions and injuries again of players that are not participating on this team that I would have thought. For example, Henrik Zetterberg had to withdraw. He wants to be healthy for the regular season to start. Okay. Gustav Nyquist, they left off. A significant scoring threat. They opted for more defensively minded forwards, and that might be the right decision. And on defense, you would have think it's good enough with the likes of what they have now. But they left off Niklas Kronwall, and they left off John Klingberg, who's one of the up-and-coming offensive defensemen in the NHL. I think they did a really good job of balancing out the offense and defense on their team. The skill is spread out evenly, and they've got depth all throughout their lineup, and that's why I have Team Sweden winning Group B. And of course, that means that Team Russia will finish second in Group B and advance to the knockout stage. So now that I've laid out my predictions for who I think are going to win both groups, we're going to talk about the group stage matchups now. So the format of the elimination round is basically top two from each group move on to the semifinals. It's a crossover format. So based on my predictions, I have Canada versus Russia and Sweden versus USA. I think Canada will be able to take down Russia as they did in their pre-tournament game, simply because Team Canada has depth all throughout their lineup. They have superstar offense. They have strong defense, offensive and defensive, and they've got three elite goaltenders, including the best goaltender in the world. You can't argue that they'll be tough to beat, and in that sense, I think Team Canada is going to take down Team Russia and move on to the World Cup of Hockey Finals. As for the other matchup, I think it'll be a really good one. USA versus Sweden, you got grit versus skill, speed versus creativity. It'll be a goaltender battle. If it's Quick versus Lundqvist, that's an incredible battle. A 2014 Stanley Cup Final matchup. You've got an amazingly high-powered and skillful defense core on Sweden. Will they be able to sustain the amount of pressure and forecheck that the US puts on them? In my opinion, I think the US team is actually built to succeed in this tournament. And their skill, they might not have as much scoring, but I think the team is built the right way, at least to take on Team Sweden. So that's why I have Team USA moving on and beating Sweden to face Canada in the World Cup of Hockey Final. Now the finals that I've laid out is the ideal matchup. You got Canada versus USA, and if the pre-tournament games were any indication of what this matchup is going to be like, it's going to be unbelievable. They've also got they're obviously in the same group, so they're going to play each other in the round robin, but I can't wait for this final. I really hope it comes true, and I think it'll come true. Of course, the finals in the World Cup of Hockey is a best of 3, so it's not a single knockout game. So that series could go the distance. I think it will. I think Canada will take the first game. I think the States will fight back and force a game 3, and then I think Canada will win it in overtime with another Sidney Crosby gold medal type finish to it. And I think this tournament is going to be unbelievable. It's set up to be amazing. Pre-tournament games have been awesome. All the teams are competitive. It'll be the best hockey we've ever seen, and that's why I'm proud to say that I think Team Canada is going to take it once again and establish their stronghold on the international stage. Team Canada will win the 2016 World Cup of Hockey Championship in 3 games over Team USA. You can take that to the bank. I'll be going to the World Cup of Hockey Village. That's in Toronto. It's in the Distillery District. So if any of you guys are down there, please go check it out. I'll be there, I think, the 24th or the 25th. One of the last few days that the village is open. So if I see you guys there, please give me a shout out. Say hi. I'll be so willing to talk to you guys about hockey or just catch up and meet you guys. I'm planning on doing a debrief video or a summary, a recap video, going over my predictions that I've done right now, comparing them to what actually happened in the World Cup of Hockey. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully my predictions are right. I think I got some upsets in there. Team Finland finishing last, but we'll see. We'll see. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know if you want to make more commentary videos, prediction videos. I think I'll do one for the regular season as well after the World Cup is done. Hockey's just getting started, boys. I've got NHL 17 content coming very, very soon. Get excited. Hockey is back, boys, and I couldn't be more excited. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.